Hey guys, subscribe for daily content, and if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got another short, little unboxing video to share with you guys. 3 brand new Benchmades directly from the Benchmade company. That's what we have here today. These are brand new models. Presumably they are available in some capacity. By the way, I don't ever link to the Benchmade website directly because the prices are obviously out. I want to be able to link to a retail site where you can get, you know, the retail price. You shouldn't be paying MSRP for knives. But presumably they will be available soon, so I should have links in the description at sites like Blade HQ. It does help my channel when you use those links, but that's entirely up to you. Thanks to Benchmade, if I didn't say that. If you guys didn't know, I get a lot of free stuff from lots of companies. Like most of the unboxings that you see on this channel, like most of that stuff is stuff that's sent for free, right? But I treat everybody the same. Free knife doesn't mean that I'm going to say nice things. Benchmade is a great example of that. They have not received a lot of positive reviews on this channel over the last multiple years, despite sending the stuff that I'm reviewing. But just so you know, that's not how that works. Today's video is not a review. It is simply an unboxing. I will give you guys my honest thoughts, just like I always do. Benchmade, the reason for the intro is because Benchmade tends to be, like, when you bring that up, it's a touchy subject, right? Because people are like, oh, you know, they're overpriced. You know, they're trying to buy reviewers. I don't know about other content creators. I find it pretty easy to speak my mind regardless of the free stuff. I've never really had an issue with that. But, you know, longtime viewers know that. I think viewers who just pop in for a moment, I think that's how they come to that conclusion. So this is, Benchmade makes a nice knife. They do. They make a nice knife. They make good tools. They just charge too much money for it. Sometimes they have fit and finish issues. The Dacian, you guys can tell me how to pronounce that. MagnaCut, and it's a 203-04. Maybe I'm wrong. I feel like Benchmade has been a bit low on their MagnaCut HRC. Okay, it's a pretty straightforward fixed blade. I do like the size. I've maintained many times, if I'm going to carry a fixed blade, it needs to be smaller, right? It's got the little, you know, loop or whatever. Like, that's great. I can actually fit this one in my pocket, which I'm such a filthy casual when it comes to EDCing fixed blades. I don't do it right? But I got my own, you know, I'm not outside a lot. So if I'm going to EDC a fixed blade, I'm going to carry it like a pocket knife. So you can't really, I mean, like, in that sense, like, I'm not the best person to tell you whether or not a fixed blade, any individual fixed blade is a good purchase, because I'm not that type of, you know, I don't spend enough time using fixed blades the way they're intended to be used, and I barely do it with pocket knives. We have honestly, it's a pretty nice contrast here with this very, very deep blue, almost deep green, what I assume is micarta. Does it say? I mean, that's what it looks like, right? Yeah, and then MagnaCut, probably, like, it's a nice looking fixed blade, and I'm sure it functions fine. It's probably a bit low on HRC, maybe a lot low, and they probably want way too much money for it. But there it is. It's fine. There's not really a lot to say there. This is called the Loden. It's very, very light. M390. So the Benchmade 491, blue class, which is, I don't know. The classing system doesn't make a lot of sense to me, right? But it got me in the early days. I was like, oh, black class. I need to own a black class. Blue class, black class. Okay, Loden. What do we got? Oh, it is. Okay, so hold on. It's aluminum at least. That's good. Don't like the plastic. Is this a... Oh, it's an axis lock flipper. We don't have a lot of crossbar locks with flipper tabs out there. A little bit different looking. I do like the look of the pocket clip. Actually, the contrast with what I'm going to call kind of a battleship gray. It's almost like the exact color between blue and gray. Nice looking color. And then I like the contrast with the clip. And then they've done the same thing to the axis lock. Does it flip? Actually flips really well. Hold on a second. Are you running on bearings? Yeah. Benchmade using bearings. This is running on, that's wild. I have never, have I ever seen a Benchmade that runs on bearings? I don't know. Maybe that's how they got this to work. All right. This is like a, it's not a dagger ground. Like, it's not actually sharp on both sides, but it's like a, I don't know what they would describe this as, spear point. You know, it looks like a dagger grind. The tip is intentionally, a lot of people say, oh, the grind doesn't go right down the center. That's intentional in this case. You can see it is exactly the same on both sides. And it's to probably add a little bit of room to make this cutting bevel still make sense out at the tip, right? A lot of times they'll run this line, or they'll try to run this line right down the center, and because you have a false edge on one side and you have an exposed cutting bevel on this side, that tip runs into an area that's not really perfectly centered, because you can see the bevel like goes this way. So unless you have actually sharpened both sides, that line can't be perfectly center anyway. So what they do is they just favor one side, and then you get that bevel and you get the actual cutting bevel perfect, which I think they did, right? M390. Benchmade, is your website accurate? I saw a listing of an M390 knife that said the HRC was anywhere from 58 to 61. What? Why? It's probably that the uncoated blades are going to favor the harder side of that range, and that the coated blades will favor the softer side. 58 is insanely low for M3. I mean, 59, like people huck pies at 59. That's too low. It should be 60 to 62 across the board. That's what I think. This is actually kind of a cool knife. I don't think it's necessarily standout, and I don't like the ergonomics at all, because you just have this area right here, and then you're sort of squished into this flipper tab. But it's cool and it's different. Versus what Benchmade normally does. It's not really that much different outside of it being a crossbar locking flipper. It's not really that much different than other stuff we've seen from other companies, right? But for Benchmade fans and people wanting something different, I'm sure that they'll be very, very happy, right? Ambidextrous clip mounting positions, that's great. Standoff. It's, again, I haven't seen the price tag. It's probably too much money. At this point, I can just confidently say that, because I don't have faith that we're going to get anything from Benchmade that has a reasonable price tag. And when I say reasonable, what do you mean by reasonable, Metal Complex? I mean, like, look at their competition. Look at their direct competition. Their realistic direct competition. USA high-end production companies, right? Kershaw USA, not the Chinese stuff. The Kershaw USA, probably the best priced USA-made knives on earth. You have ProTech, you have Microtech, you have Hogue, all pricing lower. Even Microtech, greedy Microtech pricing their knives lower. Oh, man. PSK 593GY-02. I will say this. The people at Benchmade are very nice. Not once has anyone from the Benchmade team ever been pushy, demanding, or anything less than perfectly courteous, despite the fact that I have really come down on their pricing, and sometimes their fit and finish, and their unwillingness to innovate past the axis lock, right? And their HRC ranges. I mean, like, despite all that, they're always like, hey, thank you for the review. We'll let you know when there's more stuff for you to look at. That's great. That's the kind of, as a reviewer, like, that's the kind of relationship I want to have with a company, right? I want to be able to say, I don't like this, and you should, you should try something different and not make us pay as much, right? Now, obviously, that's not working, but I appreciate they let me say what I want. So this is, oh no, is it, oh man, God dang it, got excited for a second. Hold on, I don't want to judge it too hard yet, hold on. This is called the PSK. I thought this was aluminum. I was about to get kind of excited here. Is this assisted? Oh, I think it is. This feels like... So this makes me think of my first, like when I was just a wee little baby, just a little baby knife boy. I don't know anything, right? My favorite, the best knife I'd ever handled at the time was the Kershaw Blur. And I thought, wowee, I just paid 56, I remember, $56 for a pocket knife. I am a broke college boy. I have no business buying an expensive knife. Expensive. But I was like, but I got it. I got the best knife on earth. That is the nicest knife in the Walmart display, right? Then I found out about Benchmade. Well, it wasn't too much longer that I found myself spending, I believe, about $165 on a Benchmade Barrage, which was just, it wasn't even aluminum. It was plastic and maybe it had some G10 on it or something else. And maybe it had a little bit of aluminum on it and steel. And then it was 154 cm. I was like, this is the most amazing thing ever, right? It was assisted, which I thought was like the coolest thing. A knife springs open, right? And it had that little extra locking system on it, right? Just like this. I thought, oh my gosh, I am so tactical right now. My friends, I was a guy in the corner like, nobody knows I'm carrying a Benchmade. We got windows up here. Looks like an airplane. We got LMAX. I don't know how they heat treat their LMAX. Almost certainly running on, God dang. Is this a lock stick? Boy, lock stick on this guy. Not super great. It does run on washers. Solid. It's a crossbar lock. This is Grivery though. I don't like this material. I don't like it. I mean, like here's where it's okay. You use it, number one, the way the idea is that it's high strength to weight ratio. Great. It's also insanely cheap. Insane. There's nothing else crazy going on here. Steel liners. So it's like we're actually trying to reduce the weight in this and increase the balance, the total amount of tool you're carrying, and reduce the weight as much as possible. And also, the benefit of using this material is that it won't cost nearly as much. At some point, Benchmade was like, well, we're going to charge more anyway. We're going to charge as if it was something super, like really, really nicely milled aluminum, or maybe even not quite titanium. Like if you made this full titanium, it's going to cost more. I have a feeling the price tag on this is going to be crazy, just like this one. But the Grivery, I just can't. Like, I don't like... Man, if you guys had done this in aluminum, here's the deal. LMAX, and if you had done like two different anodized pieces of aluminum with this texturing on there, and maybe you guys want to charge $300, right? Now, people are going to get mad at me and jump down my throat. Hold on a second. Let's compare to like the Microtech Stitch. This isn't as cool as the Stitch, but the Stitch is essentially that. The Ramlock Stitch, right? The MSI, that one's only, like the MSI is a great example of a company who's known for overcharging, pricing something reasonable. The MSI is the M390 MK, which I heard they have brought the HRC range up on that. And then you have pretty nice aluminum, like you have an option for aluminum on there. I want to say that's between $250 and $275. I'm not upset about that. But I feel like this is going to be more. And it's Grivery. Or Grivery, or however you say that. I don't know what the price is yet. That's why we're doing the unboxing first. We'll do the reviews after. I don't know that I really need to review. I just not much here. But these two will get reviews. At this moment, I don't know what the price tags are. I haven't seen these hit the retail stuff. But after that happens, and I've had a chance to spend some time with them, I can give you guys my full thoughts. But that's my prediction. It's probably going to be way too much money for this material that's being paraded as something special when it is, in fact, just strong plastic that doesn't cost very much. And they're charging a lot for it anyway. That's got some lock stick on it. It's also slightly, well, no, it's just mashed off center because of the washers. Okay. New stuff from Benchmade. It's always interesting, even if when it's bad or when it's not impressive, just because the Benchmade, like as soon as you say Benchmade, there's a lot of attention on it. In fact, this unboxing will get more views than normal on this channel simply because the picture in the thumbnail is a Benchmade box and the word Benchmade is in the title, right? I mean, that's just what's going to happen. I'll give these fair reviews. I'll link them in the description. You guys can check them out if you want to. They will get fair reviews. Thanks to Benchmade for sending me these samples. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like. So check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.